is working in the same direction. Samir, I will take it from the end customer point of view, or your customer point of view, because all our print service providers are at the end of the day fulfilling some requirements from their customers. What is that changed? You mentioned you can consult them how to go forward. What is the added value you are addressing to your customer when it comes to the new way of printing? Shorter runs, maybe. The publishers now are facing different challenges. So what are you doing to support them?
See, usually as a service provider, whether you are a vendor or a printer, there is a responsibility. You are supposed to be playing an important role in directing the industry. I always remember this scene from the movie Jobs. I don't know if you have seen it. He's sitting with the person who's designing or who's working on the design of the Macintosh. Okay. And the engineer tells him, but this is not what people want. And the answer from Jobs was amazing. He told him, how would people know what they want if they haven't seen it before? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So basically, publishers are dreaming of certain scenarios, and customers are even not imagining that they can have this. But proper print-on-demand system that can fulfill and make their dream come true, that whenever he needs a copy, he will have it. Whenever his client needs a copy, he will have it. But, and I put many lines under the word, but here, that at a proper cost. Mm-hmm. And this is the main challenge. The publisher can see that this title can distribute, let's say, 10,000 copies. And for him, he's willing to take the risk and print the 10,000 copies. But if it doesn't go well, he will get stuck with logistics complications and storage requirements and expired copies and obsolete content and big list of challenges. Yeah. Of maybe 2,000 titles laying in warehouses, and maybe one out of every, I don't know, 100. I was talking to a big publisher recently, and he said 2 to 3 of each 100 titles that we publish clicks. And it's the good news that even these 2-3 titles, when they click, they compensate for the 100 titles that they have printed. But it would have been much more feasible, and it would have been with much less waste, much less complications, if they can just start with what they want now and be able to deliver to the client whenever he wants it, without struggling with storing it, without struggling with the challenges that we mentioned, and still be able to give the client what he wants. And I believe always that it's a big responsibility on the whole equation, the vendor, the printer, and the client, to work together to reach to that. From our side, we always give advice to the client. We always work with them based on case by case, let's say. It's a challenging time. The challenge that we are having today, that the transition period from the conventional to digital, let's say, if we are going to consider digital printing, and by the way, it's inevitable, by the way, whether people in general are convinced or not, but it's coming. But it's a matter of when and how the transition will happen. So the responsibility is to be able to go in that direction in a smooth way, but the vendor should contribute in making the transition easier, in making these solutions available in more practical way for companies, for printers mainly, to be able to have this. The nice thing about the development, the amazing development in the digital, that many challenges that we had before are solved. We had a big challenge in the electrophotography about the productivity. Machines were nice, amazing, quality is beautiful, but very slow.
Especially if you are coming from web offset background. So
even if you're not, because look at the total capacity of electrophotography. You say, what's the fastest now in the market? 150 pages per minute. That's it, and this is basically nothing. And I always make it simple for somebody to understand it. I say 150 pages per minute. If you imagine that the book is 200 or 300 pages, yani every 2-3 minutes you will have one book. And this is basically in production environment, that's very slow. That is very slow, because 40 books or 30 books per hour, the whole day is 10 hours. So in the whole day you can do 300 books. This is nothing. Now the inkjet technology made it more than 20 times faster, and an inkjet system is as fast as an offset 10-color machine. Yeah. So this was solved. Most of the printing presses are designed to finish large format sheets, and the electrophotography has the limit of the maximum 35 centimeter width. That's it, because of the fusing and the processing of digital. So this also was solved. The size was solved, and even the cost. The cost has dropped significantly. But till now, Dr. George, I think we were talking before, and he mentioned something about the break-even point. This is the key. Whenever the client see that where is the break-even point that will make him comfortable going towards digital, because digital considered expensive if you compare it to offset, especially if you want to go a little bit high in the quantity. And they always look at the overall quantity. They don't consider, okay, I will print only 100 or 200 copies or 500 copies. At the end of the day, the publisher always thinks about the final quantity that he needs in the market. And he's willing to take the risk, and he's willing to print more. And this trend, I don't think that we can stop it soon, because they have their calculators always, and for him paying little extra to go for a short run is not really welcomed. Yeah. It eats from his net profit, but if he calculate it properly, actually it's not really feasible, because at the end the balance between the books that gonna get obsolete, in return he should think of it in a more financial factor. But with publishers, books are still good commodities and they will sell. So to be able to complete the transition and go in that direction, it should be easier to change to digital. We should help the printers. You should help us actually to be able to transform properly by making it more feasible and making it more easy. And of course our these very important points you mentioned is giving lots of questions in my